Hey, this is Nicolette Moore from NicoletteMoore.com, and do you ever feel like you have challenges that hold you back from being a successful network marketer? Well, check out the story of 21-year-old Jelena Ostrovska, and I think it'll give you some perspective on how you can overcome your challenges and actually use them in your advantage to have a successful career. See you on the other side. Hey, it's Nicolette Moore from NicoletteMoore.com, and today I have with me on interview number 11, Jelena Ostrovska. Now, Jelena is 21 years old, and she found network marketing in 2013. So instead of graduating from high school and going off to university and getting a degree and starting on a career track like most of the world understands to do, she said, no, I want to be an entrepreneur. Like it resonated with her because that's how she saw her family raise her. And so she found network marketing and she's not looking back. She's doing awesome with it, and she's definitely an inspiration for us all. So Jelena, I'd love for you to come out and kind of share a little bit about your journey from 2013 until present day in network marketing.
Yeah, well, my parents first introduced me to the industry. I was in high school and I was like working my butt off to get the best grades, to go into the best university. So I had that, mentality in my head that, I have to get the best grades. I have to go into the best university, get the best degree, and then move on with my career, right? My parents, they were first building like a network marketing business, and then they found another one. So they showed me the compensation plan, they showed me the products, and I was like, sign me up, right? So like I was, just a high school kid, and I just saw a big opportunity. Like I was probably the easiest prospect to close, right? Nobody needed to close me. So I was like, well, just sign me up and I want to do this. And the reason I joined was because my goal and my biggest dream of life was to go into like some fancy university, Harvard or something like that, which kind of costs a lot of money, like 60 grand a year is a lot of money to invest into university, like 1 year times 4 or 5. It's crazy, right? So I thought I was going to earn a lot of money in network marketing, and then I'm going to invest that into university. So, a little bit like crazy, stupid little kid that didn't know what I was doing. So obviously it didn't work as I was planning it to work. So I didn't make any money. I didn't sign anybody up in this business. All I was doing, like in school, I was sitting in class and I was sending like copy and paste messages on social media while the teacher was talking about something. I was trying to make notes, and then with my left hand I was trying to send those messages. Then I joined another company. Like I took a little bit of a break from network marketing. Like we had some challenges with the company, and I was like, well, maybe that's not my thing. Then I see another company and I see a good product. I already know the industry. I knew it worked. It just didn't work for me. And I jumped in again and I was like, well, this product is going to help me. And it was 2014, the last year of high school. And I had so many exams. I was not sleeping. So a lot of stuff going on. And I was like, well, I'm in. And this time, instead of working with Russians like I was doing before, who didn't give me any training, I really didn't resonate with them. The target market is so different. And I was like, well, I'm going to work with Americans. I like their mentality. I like what they're doing. So let's do this. And then I got some training. I started like learning a little bit more, but still, I think I signed up like my first distributor the day after, because I had already established like a little bit of relationships with that person. I was like, oh yes, I'm so excited. I made like what, $75. But it was like my first commission and I was excited. So the very first, it matters, right? So, but then that person quit, I believe like 60 or 90 days later. And I was like, well, I have to do something about that. And also I was like in my last, that last high school year, I was already getting ready to send all the documents, like everything to university and, like go into the United Kingdom or to London, like whatever, right? And my dad told me, like, Jelena, you have this business, this stuff works. I mean, I know it worked for other people. I mean, just look around, look at your upline, look at your, like the company, owner. It does work. So why are we going to like get you into debt and go into college, and then you will hope to get a job sometime after, and then you'll have to work really hard to pay it all back. And I was like, I was so hesitant. I was like, well, I don't know if it's going to work, the network marketing and all of that, because it was risky to not go to college, right? It was like, well, you know, this kind of gives you security, and that's what I thought. But then I started to think, and the college that I wanted to go, it was about $15,000 a year, which a little bit smaller than the Harvard, right? But still, I was like, well, for 1,500 times 4, it's gonna be 60 grand, and then I have to like work super hard to pay it back for the next, I don't know, like 10 years or so. And I was like, well, that kind of doesn't sound really fun. So let me take another look at network marketing and see like what I can do about it, because I had no training, you know, like very little training, so I had no idea what I was doing. I was spamming again, but I was doing a little bit of social media. And then my dad told me, like, Jelena, find something where you can learn, you know, let's find an online university. And that's pretty much where I landed. And I was doing so much research about the university we're both a part of. And when I found a little headline, Harvard for network marketers, I was like, I'm in. And I never looked back.
That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome how you know, we think, and this is you know, perpetual throughout the world. I think, you know, in most cultures, you know, we grow up in school and we think we have to go to university, we have to get a degree in order to make something of ourselves, to be able to stand out. And not that that's wrong, you know, that's definitely for some people, but you talked about it being more of a secure bet. Like, if I go to university, I'm guaranteed almost, you know, you kind of cling to that. But then you realize, really, as you get older, it doesn't matter. I have a master's degree in project management, and I'm in network marketing. So nothing in life is guaranteed, right? I mean, there's always going to be risks no matter what path you take. And so it's really, if you're going to be a small business owner, if you're going to work for a big corporation, if you're going to work at McDonald's, really at the end of the day, you have to make the determination to get up, go to work, and do something with yourself. And so, so I think it's cool for you to be able to say, as a, you know, somebody coming out of high school, kind of hitting some bumps along the way, to still push forward and say, no, you know, I believe in this and I see a vision for it, and then moving towards that. So like, you've kind of touched on it, but I'd like you to expand, if you don't mind, your why from when you first, you know, was, you know, kind of first got into it in 2013 to today. How has your why changed over time?
Well, obviously, my first why was just to make money. So I just wanted to go to a fancy university. That was it. And then it started to change a little bit. Then I realized, well, I do not need university. Like, I already have like what's, you know, like my online university where I can learn and I can make money at the same time. So my first, like, then my goal changed to be in profit, right? So that, you know, my business pays itself, so I don't have to like invest a lot of money into that. So I can just use my profits and reinvest it back. So that was the goal. And I was not in profit in like the first year in network marketing. I didn't make any money. The second year I made like, what, $75, maybe like, you know, $200, like, you know, here and there. So nothing really consistent. So I was still struggling, like, even though I was learning a lot of stuff, because I went from zero education to way too much education, right? So many things, like blogging, video marketing. I was like, oh my gosh, so many things, what do I do? So, and then obviously my why changed to, so I started making like some money, and, you know, I came to the point where, you know, I am right now. And then I realized, wait, well, business is not just about me, it's also about what I contribute, and also to what I can share with others. Because I was thinking, well, I'm 21 years old, not a lot of people are actually doing the business at that age. And I really just wanted to open people's eyes at what's possible, because most people, like every single one of my friends, every single one of my classmates, they went into university, invested a lot of money, took debt, and now some of them either dropped out and they're just trying to go to find a job, which is like not really related to the profession they chose, which is like what most of the time happens. I mean, you mentioned you have a master's degree, you're doing network marketing. So that's exactly what happens with with every single person over here, like with most people. And I mean, my goal is to share with people that, you know, especially with millennials, that there is an industry called network marketing, you know, not a Ponzi scheme, not a pyramid scheme, like none of that stuff, where you can actually, it's like a personal development incubator. I think that's what Eric Worre calls it. And that is so true. I mean, like, show me a university where you can learn and earn at the same time, and actually refer people into university and make affiliate commissions, right? So it doesn't happen like that, right? So because in network marketing, like I mentioned, you learn, and you earn at the same time. So there is that kind of possibility. You don't have to invest thousands of dollars into a college that doesn't give you any guarantee, because most kids think, oh, I'm gonna go into get a master's degree or something like that, and then I'm gonna get a guarantee that I will get a job 100%. I mean, I would say that not everyone is actually getting a job when they graduate from Harvard, right? So that's risky actually to invest a lot of money into that. And I mean, in network marketing, there's not like a huge overhead, none of that stuff. You can start a business for less than, I don't know, $500, like for less than $1,000, like, the first like investment. And then you can get it back pretty quickly if you do the right thing and if you listen to the people that have made it happen. So for me, it's a no-brainer. So if I can share this with other millennials and actually share with them, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You don't have to get into debt. The best thing to have. I mean, I hate like when I have some kind of debt and I have to pay, because it's like I cannot sleep, right? So that's my goal right now. And I really want to share with them that you don't have to like do all that crazy stuff and follow the masses and do what everyone else is doing, and because there is a better way, as Eric Worre says, right?
Right. Well, that's so true. We go into college, right, and we have insane amount of debts accrued because most people cannot afford even my university back home was very cheap. I think it was maybe $2,000 a semester or something. I could be wrong. It's been a long time, but it was very, very minimal as far as other, Harvard and other, primary schools in the, around. And most people cannot pay up front. Most people, I would dare to say 95% or more, get loans to be able to go to school. And you go to school and you're in there for a minimum of 3 to 5, sometimes 6 to 8 years. And, you know that you're going to have to pay that debt back. And, it's so funny to me because somebody will join a network marketing company with hopes of, hey, this can give me money or this can give me an income. But then they get really disappointed and really fed up quickly when they don't get the return on their investment. When their investment is only, like you said, most of them you can join for less than $1,000. And so there's definitely a mentality thing going on here. There's so much more of a potential with network marketing in the potential of income that you can bring in over the course of your lifetime versus the amount of money you're putting into Harvard or these other schools. Mm-hmm. And, the kind of return on investment you're going to have for that and the years of paying back that debt that you're going to have over your shoulders. It's crazy whenever you really start to think about the reality of the different paths and how, people would rather go into hundreds of $1,000s of debt sometimes, or even up to $50,000 of debt for a regular university, but they don't want to put in $1,000 to have their own business and their own legacy. So it's just a perspective thing, and that's a very good cause for you to be able to speak to people, your peers, and let them know, hey, I'm 21 years old and I'm doing really well with this. This is a real thing. This is not a lie. This is something that you can truly have. So that's an incredible cause, and I would love for you to maybe share, over this course of time, you've had, you've experienced a company that you didn't really resonate with and you kind of walked away for a few months and then you came back into it. What could you pinpoint as maybe one of your most difficult experiences that you've had in this, in the past few years, and how you've overcome it to get to where you are today?
Okay, well, my biggest challenge, I think, it was not just in network marketing. I mean, I knew that the business worked. I just knew it didn't work for me. So, and I would say my biggest challenge was just me. It was just in my head. And I would say being a Russian, it has been a big challenge because since I started building a business more with English-speaking people, with Australia, with the United States, with the United Kingdom, and I knew if that's my target market, and people told me you have to do videos, you have to do blogging. So I had to really dive into that, atmosphere, like everything English, everything like that. And I had to I would say, step over like my self-image and like get past it, because it was difficult for me to get on video. It was difficult for me to start talking in English like a lot. I mean, right now I don't have a lot of problems with that. I do forget words sometimes, but that's kind of normal, and like people understand that. But in the beginning, to do a video, because we were not taught how to record videos in school. We were not taught how to, yes, I mean, I did take English classes and all of that, and like my English was at a really good level. But when you, like, there's, I would say, a perspective and a little bit of a difference when you speak in front of the Russian kids and when you speak in front of the English people. And there's a huge difference that like they perceive you a little bit differently. At school, they were like, you're the best. When I go here, I'm the worst, right? So I would say that was the biggest problem. That's why, like, for the first year, I just had to really dive into the culture and into, just, being a part of the community and really plugging in and getting my head around, being just everything around me was English, English, English. Yes, I was working with Russians, and I was doing a lot of translations for the previous company that I was with, like my second one. So right now I'm with the third company. Hopefully it's going to be the last one. So, and so yeah, so I guess it was just like to overcome like my own challenges within my head, to stop listening to those voices that told me, oh, you cannot do this. Another challenge I had, and I would say this was actually last year, in the beginning of the year, when I started my blog, and I was all excited, and people were telling me, Jelena, you need to start a blog, you need to start building your authority, like, let's see, like, everyone has a blog and you still don't have one, what's wrong with you? And I started, and I spent about a month putting everything together to make a beautiful design and all that. At least I thought it was beautiful. It actually wasn't. So I had to at least get it going. And then I hit a wall because of my age. I was 20 years old last year, and I was thinking, well, why would people listen to a 20-year-old kid? Right? So, because I think this is like another mentality like we as millennials have. Like, I don't know about other people that, like a similar age of me, but I think that comes from high school, because at school, all the teachers are like older than us. And that's why we listen to them, because they're wiser and all of that. And then I was like, well, I kind of work with people that are older than me, and like, what can I really teach them? So I had to kind of overcome that as well. So I would say these were the two biggest challenges, like the age and the language, which right now, like, they turn out to be the advantages that I'm using. Like, since, like, I'm like, I put myself like at a nickname Russian Marketing Ninja. So I'm like using the fact that I'm Russian, as well as my age, which is, I like right now, I don't see it as a negative side, but as something, that actually inspires people. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, really, the fact that you are not natively English, you're not a native English speaker, I think that's inspirational for like someone like me. I look at you and I think, gosh, to really conquer that market and to be able to learn that skill, learning how to speak our language, to broaden your market and to broaden your reach, and to be able to talk to the people that that you resonate with, that is huge. And that's totally admirable, so I look at you and I'm like, wow, awesome, Jelena. Like, I don't know that I would have the motivation and the guts and the willpower and, all of these things that it takes to say, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to do it. And that's what you did. And so now the thing that you were insecure about is going to be something that's going to be the most endearing about you, I believe. For someone to just be like, wow, this woman really overcame this language barrier to be able to reach out and speak to me, to speak to us. So that's incredible. And then your age, yeah, we are taught by elders in school. And so we kind of have that mentality coming out that we don't have the experience, or we don't have the know-how to be able to actually go out there and be leaders. But as so many people in the community express, really it's about sharing the knowledge that you have. So it doesn't matter if you're 15 or if you're 65, because I guarantee you that there's going to be people that are in their 50s or 60s that are saying, I want to do network marketing because I want to own my future, because they don't have that much promise with careers at that point. And so they're like, well, I want something for me. And then they can say, well, but I haven't been doing this long enough, so I don't have authority. So it's really not about an age thing, but it's about taking knowledge that you gain and sharing it with others. And that's really, at the end of the day, what it is that brings you into that leadership position. So like you said, now you can take advantage of both because now you understand that that is an advantage for you. And that's something that, you know, you can bless the world with. So that's an incredible thing. And so shifting into that, like what, you know, now you're really making an impact. You're making an impact in our community. You're making an impact in, you know, so many people's lives. What would you like to say would be the best thing that's resulted up to today as being a part of this industry?
Well, I would say when it comes to like what was the best thing, I mean, first of all, like the first year I spent, you know, by like the first year network marketing, like I don't even count it because I was just struggling. The second year I started to really learn. And I was like, so this second year I just spent learning and constantly learning and trying to put all the pieces of puzzle together, which like still like didn't work out. So, and it was just a constant struggle. I was like putting a lot of money into education. I was not getting anything back. And a lot of people, they get frustrated. A lot of people get so overwhelmed and they will say, well, it doesn't work. For me, I would say, like, I always ask a question. So what's the alternative? So what happens if you don't do this business? For me, like I was, well, going to college and like putting myself into debt, into student loans, I didn't want to do that. And my dad told me like, that's not something you do not want to do. And you do not want to have a loan because, I mean, that's just not smart. So, and I mean, then I started to, you know, really looking in the industry at the people who were making it happen, at the people who, and I started to look, okay, so what do they all have in common, right? What do they all do that I don't do that gets them results and I'm still struggling? So, and I started putting like all the pieces together because everybody was telling, you know, you have to do one marketing strategy, like use it and, you know, then focus on it. And then I started looking at them and I was like, well, they don't really use one marketing strategy. So let's say if Ray Higdon, he's doing blogging, he's still doing videos, he's still doing Facebook, he's still doing, you know, let's say prospecting, you know, even though he's not doing that right now, but he was in the beginning. And I was like, well, I really have to start doing, you know, the activities, not just one marketing strategy, but I understood that I have to build an audience, I have to create content, and I have to follow up with people. So I would say those were the three big things that really started to like really help me out. And another thing, and I realized that that was my biggest problem why I was not getting results in the beginning was because I, you know, first of all, I started digging into Facebook training and I was like, well, building up my Facebook fan page. I got so excited because I never had a fan page before, right? So, and then they told me you have to do paid advertising. And I was like, really? Paid advertising? I have no idea what that is. Like, I do not want to put like more money into that because, you know, like I was just scared of that. I was like, well, it's too technical. I don't want to do this. So then I was like, well, I have to find something more simple. Then I started going into Instagram and I was like, well, I have a mobile device, so I can actually start using that. And you know, it took me actually a month of consistent Instagram marketing to generate my very first lead, which, you know, it was a lot of time. I know people sometimes right now they get into Instagram, they generate their first lead like right now. And for me, it wasn't the case. I would say nothing really key. And then I started putting like, well, I was like, you know, Instagram works. And like any social media can work. And then I kind of was like, well, you know, I kind of not a huge fan of Instagram. I know it works for other people, but I want to do something bigger because for me it was like too small, just the app, because I want to do like more things on the computer side. So, and then I would say people say, you know, you have to do, you know, one thing. And my problem was I was inconsistent, right? So I did Facebook. I, you know, decided to do something else. I did Instagram. I decided to do something else. I started blogging. Then I had this block in my head that people will not listen to me. I stopped. Then I was just all over. I would say for a few months, I was just doing like nothing. I was just searching for that best marketing strategy that most people look for, that I need leads, I need all of that. And last year, actually, I think my problem was I was not working on my mindset as well. So only last year around June, I found out that there are personal development books. And I was like, what? There are books? And like last year, like in summer, I think I read maybe, you know, I don't know, like maybe around 7 to 10 books. And I was like, wow, this stuff is awesome. I want to read more. And then like ever since, like I'm buying a lot of books. So you can probably like see there's like a few of them. So, and that really made a, like I would say a huge shift because I had no idea about personal development. I knew there were trainings and marketing and everything, but my mindset was just not ready for success. That's why I was struggling. So, and another thing was consistency. I mean, people say, you know, you have to do this and that and like the strategies and marketing. But people ask me like, you know, what's your marketing strategy? I say consistency. Like that should be really the #1 marketing strategy for people, because if I'm gonna do blogging, I'm gonna be consistent. If I'm gonna be prospecting on social media, I'm gonna be consistent. If I'm gonna be doing Facebook Lives, I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna do them either like every day or 5 times a week. So I'm gonna smash like everybody with my consistency. And that's, I would say, what started to get me results. And I would say consistency is what gets you noticed. I mean, this is what you're doing with the interviews, like you're doing them every day. So like, can you imagine what it's gonna be like within 365 days? It's gonna be massive. So pure consistency. So that was my biggest shift.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and one thing I love that, you know, you talk about personal development, and that is this industry.
Mm-hmm.
If you get into network marketing and you really push forward with it, you will become a better person. You have
Exactly.
you have to be. You have to like reflect on yourself, figure out what your insecurities are. I mean, it's crazy the amount of personal development you need to be able to persevere in this industry. So I love that you didn't know about the books until last year. So what would you say, like up until now, what's your favorite book that you've read? I know you were promoting The One Thing. Is that your favorite up to this point, or is that just a recent read that you've had?
No, it was just the recent read. I like, a lot of people have been asking me about productivity secrets and stuff like that. So that was one of the most recent ones I read. But the one that made, I mean, there's like, I love so many books. I mean, I can like put like a whole list of that. I mean, the one book that really made a huge difference, and Mark Harbert recommended that at one of the webinars, I believe, and he said, this book changed my life. And I was like, well, if this book changed Mark's life, it might as well change mine. So I read it, which is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And that made a huge difference in my head in terms of like, and that's actually the moment I started being consistent, because before the book, I was all over the place. I was on Facebook, on webinars, like everywhere. But then that book, mind-blowing, seriously.
That's awesome. That's actually one of the books that I'm currently reading myself. And yeah, I mean, the whole idea is over time and over, you know, over consistent action, you're gonna acquire, you're gonna make great things out of yourself. You know, your business will prosper, but it's generally not an overnight success. Normally it's not, you know, and it takes time to build up those behaviors and to do those consistent things, you know. So yeah, that's a great read. That's really cool. I didn't know that that's one of you and Mark's life-changing books, but I've been hearing so many people speak about it, so I just got started myself. I'd love for you to talk to us about coaching. You know, what has coaching done for you in your business, and how are you giving back as a coach?
Okay, yeah, so first of all, like when you're 20 or 19 or 18 years old, I mean, you don't have a lot of money to put into coaching. So that's why, first of all, I really did not know about coaching because I was so brand new. Like, you know, I found out about personal development books last year. So I was like, so, you know, like I was so new, like to everything. So, and about the coaching, I started hearing a lot about it last year, I think, from, you know, from various sources. And I was at a live event last year, and like a guy was promoting his coaching program, and I was like, wow, like this really makes a big difference. But again, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have like, you know, 40 grand to put into coaching, because it's pretty much the same thing as you would pay for college. And I was like, well, that's definitely not for me at the moment, like not yet. I'm not saying that it's never going to be for me, because I know I'm going to get there. But, and I would say coaching has probably been the best thing that happened for me over the last, I would say, since July to like up to this point, because I started to have some success a year ago. So actually, like, you know, since last October, I believe, you know, 12 months ago, I really started to get consistent with the blogging, with prospecting, with, you know, building up my audience, and really with consistency, because I read, you know, the Slight Edge in summer. And this made like a huge difference for sure. And I started hitting some ranks, and I started to really, like, you know, like get recognized a little bit. And I got excited, I got on fire and everything. So that's just like the way it goes. You get that momentum, and then it's difficult to stop it. But then I hit a wall, and I was just looking, I think it's like my emails or something, like a few months ago, like maybe in August, I think, before the live event, and I hit my first rank. I believe it was in either December or early January, like maybe, yeah, probably January. Then I hit the next rank in March, And then I was pushing ever since March to July for like what, probably like 5 months to push the third rank, and it just never worked out. Like I was like, you know, bad, like up and down, nothing really consistent. I was like sponsoring a couple people per month, but some people were quitting, and I got frustrated, and I was like, oh, this guy quits again, like what the heck, right? So it was a lot of challenge, and I was pretty much on my own all the time. Yes, I was a part of the community, which was a great help, but I mean, I really needed that one-on-one help, right? And then I was introduced to a coaching program, which I happen to be, you know, a part of right now. And we had some huge coaching going on, like behind the scenes. So when I got access to a coach who told me, like, Jelena, we have a live event, which happens in the middle of August. So what rank are you on right now? How many people do you need to hit the next one? And I was thinking really that the coach was crazy, because I was like, well, I cannot do this. You know, I need to sign up with 5 people in a week. I have never done it. I don't know how to do this. And he said, calm down, you know, let's break it down. So how many people do you need? You know, like, and we really broke down like exactly what I've done over the last, like, you know, less than a year. And when you have a coach who actually believes in you, and he's crazy enough to believe in you, I guess you start to believe in yourself as well. And then I just got to work. I mean, he laid out the roadmap for me. He said to me, this is exactly what you need to do. You know, you've done a lot so far, so you can leverage what you've done before and just maximize your effort and actually focus on the things that will get you results before that event. So, and I was so like, it was crazy, because the reason I did not really believe in myself, because I was in Russia visiting family, and I kind of had to spend some time with my cousins and with my grandma and with my mom. And like the last week before the event, I seriously just spent it in front of my computer almost like 24/7, just getting on the phone, talking to people, signing people up. And it was just crazy those days. I have no idea how I did that, but I hit that rank when I landed in New York right before the event. And I was like, I checked my email and I see like the notification, you just hit the next leadership rank. And I was like, thank God. And like just a couple hours before landing in Austin. So that coaching thing, I mean, I was struggling for 5 months, and he helped me rank up within a week. I was like, wow, like this works. So, and then like then having that skill set and being able to, you know, to contribute to the community and to share this with them, to like with the coaching clients, and to help them implement exactly what I've done. And to, because I mean, some people, they say, you know, coaching is going to be instant. No, I already did some work before. So like for some, like when it comes to working with coaching clients, I have people that are just getting started. I have people that are a little bit advanced. So for everybody, it's going to be different. But being able to share with them the roadmap and the, you know, the path that they need to take, like the step, you know, step by step, because that's something I did not have. And that's something I had to figure out on my own, and then just, you know, to improve that skill set and being able to, you know, shorten their learning curve, so they don't have to learn every single webinar and training and strategy that I was doing, and just like, you know, tell them, this is your goal, this is what you need to do, like this is like, say how many people you need to get on the phone, like, and I mean really break it down for them, so they do not have to be every single, you know, day like I was doing, because every single person, I mean, most of us are limited on time, so they don't have like 24 hours a day to watch a webinar. So being able to help them out, it's just awesome. So I'm really blessed to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, coaching is definitely something that I think that is misunderstood or not even thought about. Not even, you know, there's some people that aren't even aware that it's available. And then, you know, whenever you think, well, like you said, initially you were hesitant because you said, you know, you didn't want to spend the money that would have equated to the, you know, a few semesters in college. But the, you know, the reality is coaching is one-on-one, unless you do team coaching, but even that, it can still be helpful because you're getting highly personalized attention, and you're having somebody who's already experienced in success in the industry that you're in, and they're going to help you to take the path that you need to be able to, you know, get the success for yourself on a shorter timeline. And so it's highly valuable, and it's so worth the money because that person cares about your success, and they're going to guide you. They're going to make sure that, you know, your daily behaviors are leading you on the path to success. And you know, it's money well spent. I think I was speaking with Mark Harbert in a previous interview, and he said that he's spent, I think, up to $1,000 to $2,000 on 1 hour of a mentor's time, of a coach's time. But that time frame created thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in profit for him, because he learned something that he was able to incorporate into his business to be able to profit him. So his return on investment was well worth the money spent.
Exactly.
And so that's what coaching is about, you know, just it's a business investment, and it's investing in you and your success. So whenever people can embrace that, and they can get their mindset wrapped around it, it can be really profitable for them. So that's awesome. I'm curious. I'm sorry, I'm like looking at my notes so I can keep on track. What is the best piece of advice you've received in this, you know, to kind of like stick through the hard times in this industry? What's the best piece of advice you've received?
Well, I mean, there has been a lot of advice considering the amount of webinars I have attended, but I think the best one, I think my biggest problem was consistency, right? I just couldn't stick to doing those activities every single day. Blogging, it was like such a hurdle to do it daily, to do it like at least 5 times a week. And then I think I was on a Ray Higdon's course, the 3-Minute Expert, where he was sharing, you know, about the like how to be consistent. Because seriously, in that course, he shared exactly what I just needed to hear: how to not be a perfectionist, how to like get over that fear, why would people listen to me, and also the vision, like how to be consistent. Because having a vision is something I did not really have. I just wanted to make some money in the business. I just wanted to be in profit. But then you have to realize that it's just, you know, your vision is bigger than yourself. So you have to really focus on the bigger picture, and not just on the short-term goals. Like the short-term goals, they're good, but you have to see like the bigger vision, like where you're actually going, what kind of person do you want to become. Because and that was like such a good advice. And I would say like this is one quote, actually like a couple of things. So if you want to make, you know, a bigger income, right? You know, if you want to scale your business to 6 figures, you cannot remain the same person you are today. So if you are today with the exact same mindset, you know, tomorrow with that same mindset, you're not going to be able to make, you know, to 10x your income, right? So it's just not possible. Another thing I heard was your income is only going to grow to the extent that you grow. And I was like, yes, that kind of makes sense, because you have to have that mindset of a 6-figure earner to make it happen. So you have to already see yourself being there to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And I think that was one of the takeaways from Dr. Joe Dispenza from the event, because you have to see as if the event has already happened. So like you have to feel it, you have to, you know, behave as that person already, and having that vision is what's going to pull you every single day. And I think like another quote that I heard was, pain pushes you until vision pulls you. So in the beginning, like we all have some kind of pain, whether it's to pay off some debts, whether it's to, you know, to be in profit, or, you know, a lot of different pains. So, and then you have to have a vision, because once you overcome that pain, you will have, you know, you have to, your our why is going to change over the years, right? You know, like in the beginning, I just thought I want to go into college, and now it's like, you know, the why is completely different. So like 2 years from now, a year from now, my why is going to be different as well. So 5 years from now, it's going to be different. So yeah, I mean, having that vision, where I'm going, exactly what I want to accomplish, what I want out of life, because when you're young, you never think about that. And again, like they don't teach you that stuff in school. I was so brand new when I started out. I was like, well, this is like all that is kind of new. So yeah, having that vision that you wake up, and when you have those days, oh, I don't feel like doing this, I don't want to write this blog post, I don't want to record that video. And then you look at that vision, you know, like say at a vision board, I have like this on my wall. So when you have it in front of you, and you know where you're going and what kind of person you need to become, you know that you have to write that blog post, you know you have to create that piece of content, you have to go and talk to more people. So having a vision was like probably the best advice that I received.
I love that, because what happened with you is you had 5 months of kind of a stagnant growth. There wasn't really anything going on. And then, sorry. And then, you know, you get into this coaching program, this coach really believes in you, he pushes you, and right before you had this goal, you wanted to hit a particular rank before getting to a particular event, and you pushed yourself, you had that belief, you had that vision, And what happened? You got it. So you like lived that out before you even, got to sit down with Dr. Dispenza and kind of go through that whole process. So that's very cool. So if somebody came up to talk to you and they've never been in network marketing and they're considering it, what would you ask them to consider? What would you tell them to kind of give them guidance on if it's for them or not?
Well, first of all, I mean, a lot of people, they have wrong expectations when it comes to network marketing. They expect that they're going to invest their money and they're going to make it back. So because when people say, I need to make money now, well, then you may get a job. So that's like what I tell them. So in the beginning, it's going to be really difficult because network marketing is not an overnight success. You're not going to make money right away. So you really have to, because network marketing is not for everyone, right? Just like you mentioned, it's like for some people, I mean, most people, they are not making it happen because first of all, they probably don't believe in the product they have. They may not believe in the industry and they may not believe in themselves. And that was like my problem. I had challenges promoting like the products that I had before, just because I don't know, I would say they were not really congruent with who I am. Like, I don't need to take pills at 21 years old. So it was kind of like not something I really wanted to promote. So first of all, consider, I would say, what is it that you're passionate about? Do you like weight loss? Do you like, some fitness? Because every single person is different. I mean, there's a lot of different, products and companies out there. So first of all, identify what is it that you already love. Maybe you love to travel. Maybe you love, makeup. You name it. So because, I mean, like there's so many products out there, then, you have to understand, are you ready to work really hard over the next 2 to 5 years so you can spend the rest of your life being free? Because most people, they don't see that difference, that you have to go to college, you have to get a job, and then you work about 40 years to enjoy, the rest of your life, which is not, life is short, right? So are you really willing to work 40 years to retire and then have like maybe maximum 20 years, maybe less? Or you're going to be ready to work 2 to 5 years, really hard work, but it's going to be worth it because then you can enjoy the rest of it, and you're still going to be like, depending on like how, how soon you start network marketing, maybe you're, young like me, 20, 25, whatever. So, you can retire a lot sooner than, being like 60 or like 75 years old. So, yeah, so I would say, are you, the question I would say, are you ready to work super hard so you can enjoy the fruits of the labor later? So most people, they don't have that patience, because in network marketing, you have to have a lot of patience, which most people don't have. And they're like, I want results now. I want to make it happen now. Some people are just brainwashed and they say, oh, network marketing is a scheme. It's, not working. And, who gave you that advice? Probably someone who has never been in the industry. So why don't you start listening to somebody who has been there and done that, and someone who has created the success that you probably looking to create, and follow their lead, right? So, it's not for everybody, because not everyone is, kind of cut for network marketing. Some people, they like, the corporate, they like to go to job, and they like to have that, regular kind of life. But if you want something extraordinary, then you have to be ready for extraordinary amount of like hard work. So being consistent, like probably like having a lot of sleepless nights, going into the personal development, path, and actually learning and growing on yourself. And I mean, but it's so worth it in the long run. So
yeah, I love how you touched on, do you want to put in a few hard years of, just real steady work to be able to have a long life of freedom? And that's really what network marketing is all about. It allows you to leverage, big teams, and you have so much potential, and really you will get out of it what you put into it. And so I love that you touched on that, because I think if someone could really understand that, if they could really wrap their mind around the fact that the effort that they put in really can provide them a very prosperous and a very free future. Somebody once said, if you were working at a company that you knew once you retired after 20 years, you would get $1 million handed to you, you know how many people would be loyal to that company for that $1 million at the end of 20 years? But then with network marketing, you could get it so much more quickly if you just put in the work, and you can really acquire that within a short amount of time. But you have to put in, you know, that's no guarantee of success here. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, you know, there's too many success stories to be able to deny that. And it really ultimately boils down to the individual and how much they apply themselves. So that is key for us to definitely be able to share with the world. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Jelena, I respect you and your time, and I don't want to take up too much of it. And I'm very, very grateful that you have joined us today. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what would your, where would they go to find you?
Well, my main thing is my blog, obviously, so it's jelenaostrovska.com, or my fan page. I'm pretty active over there, and it's not super difficult to find it because I just recently changed the name, so it's easier to, like, instead of putting my last name over there, so it's just facebook.com/Jelena Coaching. So people can connect with me in those two places.
Awesome. Okay, well, guys, if y'all are interested in meeting up with Jelena, definitely go to her blog or go to her fan page. And she also has so many kudos. If you go to her blog, you'll see all the different things that she can help you with. She can help you set up a blog or review a blog, or definitely do little, 1-hour coaching sessions, or, longer term. She has different availabilities for all of those spots. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check her out. She's a pleasure to work with, and she can definitely help you on the road to success. So thank you so much, Jelena. Really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Bye.
NicoletteMoore.com. Yeah, look. You know she got you. Yeah, when it comes to the lead, she gon' lead you straight to the lead generation. It's what it is all about. Recruiting all the prospects, yeah, that's what it's shot. She help you with the coaching. You know that she give you the potion, so you could go and move it through the ocean. Cause she there for you. She really cares. She wanna help you grow. That's why she there. So if you wanna get more, you wanna see this what's in store, NicoletteMoore.com. Get it, y'all.